Well, welcome back to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse. And being that it's been so wonderful outside, we really can't enjoy the summer because you're either baking, drowning, blowing away, whatever the fuck it is. And this is called climate change. And I believe Mitch McConnell said it best when he said, but anyway, on to better things, because being locked in with the heat and shit, you get to watch things like this. Stone Cold from 1991. This was probably one of the best biker films I've ever seen, and only in part to the participation of William Forsythe and Lance Henriksen as the bad bikers. You see, this was a vehicle to get Brian Bosworth over as an action star. Unfortunately, Brian Bosworth doesn't have too much charisma where Bill and Lance do. And Lance had said that when he had read the script, he really wanted the part but really hated the dialogue because the dialogue didn't make any sense. So what he did was, he wrote his own dialogue and had to bounce it off Bosworth, and Bosworth wasn't too happy. I had heard about the whole thing. But anyway, it's basically a group of bikers called the Brotherhood that basically run roughshod over the state of Mississippi and have been killing judges that have been convicting them. And they're going to launch an all-out assault on the state capitol, killing everybody there unless Bosworth stops them, which he pretty much does, but there's a lot of carnage in between. Bill Forsythe just chews a shitload of scenery as Ice, the enforcer. Lance's Chains as the leader is completely sadistic and fucking crazy and shit, and is in really good shape. On this Blu-ray, he did give an interview. I mean, it's been like over 30 years, actually, since the movie came out. Go figure. I never thought I'd be saying that about something in the 90s, but it is. And Lance explained his role in the whole thing, and, you know, this and that and the other thing. Oddly, I had met both William Forsythe and Lance Henriksen at a convention. Bill I had met a couple of times. He was more amicable than anybody else. We were sitting there talking, and he told me that, you know, during the film, he had told Bosworth that Bosworth might be better off trying to work as a heavy than a hero. Like I said, I don't know what happened to the Boz. I think he did a couple more films and then just faded into obscurity because they went direct to video. But yeah, cool part was me and Bill were talking about drinking and outlasting guys way younger than us. And Bill said one of the coolest things to me. He goes, you know why that is? And I said, no, why? He goes, they don't make guys like you and me anymore. And then he looked both ways and said, you want a picture? And he signed it and slid it over to me. Lance was a whole different ball game. Lance, we have a shot of my coffee, courtesy of the Fusebox radio station, which is actually a sponsor of Grindhouse Resurrection now. Lance was one of the featured guests at Monster Mania, and he was pretty much sequestered until he was walking into the lobby, and I walked up to him and I said, Lance, can I get a picture? And he looked at me and he goes, anything for a fellow New Yorker. So that's the only interaction I had with Lance, unfortunately. I wish I had more. But that was all cool, and the movie, like I said, it's really good. And unfortunately, this one isn't too good. I had high hopes because this one was directed by Fernando Di Leo, who had done a lot of crime stuff, and I believe also Slaughter Hotel. This has a bunch of mercenaries rescuing a bunch of school children. It stars Henry Silva and Woody Strode in the lead, and this guy Harrison Mueller as, if you look at this guy, he's trying to be fucking Rambo. He is not Rambo, okay? They rescue the children. Henry is shot right near the heart, and Woody does battlefield surgery on him by pulling the bullet out, slapping a Band-Aid on it, and they go into the sun, off into the sunset, except Woody decides he's going to stay and become a crime boss in Golden Triangle. So basically, they recruit this guy, Harrison Mueller, to go back and single-handedly fight off a whole fucking army. And of course, he does this with one machine gun in his shirt. He keeps running in and out of this house and killing people and shit. And honestly, I was completely disappointed because this movie shit the bed. And the other thing is that the sound drops in and out. Now, I don't know whether that's a flaw on the DVD or a flaw on the print, but This was released by Code Red, and I don't know, I guess they thought it was a big fucking deal. It's not. The other thing is, I picked this up, Newman's Law with George Papard, which is a pretty good one from '74. George was pretty much of a leading man in the mid to late '60s with the Carpetbaggers and other films. Then he started getting a little rough around the edges and was starring in stuff like Cannon for Corbata, Rough Night in Jericho with Dean Martin as a bad guy, One Last Train to Rob, PJ, and a bunch of other stuff. Then he was on Banachek, I believe, on TV, and of course the A-Team. Unfortunately, George passed away at age 65. This one, he's basically a straight cop who finds a shitload of dope from a tip-off, and it brings this mob boss back from isolation in Sicily, and the guy gets the upper hand by framing Newman, having heroin secreted in a strong box that's in his apartment, and then he's fired. And the other cast, let me see here, we have Roger Robinson and Eugene Roach as fellow cops, and a few guys you would notice hanging around because they're regular character actors. But this follows his whole thing to break the back of this mob thing, and the mob guy actually allied himself with the black drug dealer, so there's a whole bunch of shit going on, but it winds out that his captain, played by Eugene Roche, is the leak. And this is one of those films with the typical downbeat 70s ending where all the main characters are dead. And look for Marlene Clark in a small role as Roger's wife. And now I got a bitch, because you notice I'm wearing a shirt that says the Death Curse Society on it. Well, what happened is, take a look at this. This is our first issue of Grindhouse Resurrection. And my girl and I and a few other people have been laboring for months to get this thing up for sale on the internet. And we finally got it up in the form of an ebook, and a print book is coming. But what happened was, it was rejected by Amazon, and it was rejected because of nudity. Now, I'm going to flip through this fucking thing here. Let's see. Nudity. Where's the nudity? Is Angelo Mosca nude? There's a couple shots in here. Nothing gratuitous, but okay. Amazon sent a letter of denied publication because of nudity. Amazon is the company that also sells sex toys and X-rated releases. And let me tell you about my history with Amazon. This is going back over about 20 years now. I was looking to sell these DVDs called The Many Taboos of Death, sort of a Faces of Death knockoff. You can't sell these on eBay, but you can sell them on Amazon, which speaks volumes about what Amazon's actually about. So when selling these, in my inventory at that time, I had a pile of Insatiable 2 DVDs with Marilyn Chambers. So I checked their site, and lo and behold, they were selling them, and it was in their database, and I pulled up the image and put it up for sale. Within 24 hours, I got an email stating that I was barred for life for selling on Amazon because I sold pornography. When I told them that I pulled that out of their own database, their answer was, we don't sell adult material. Now, if you go on there and punch in my name, you'll see a bunch of my DVDs for sale, but you only see a handful out of the 30-something releases I have. That's because they figure out what they are eventually and then knock them off. I'm sure other people have been having this problem. But the bottom line is, we worked really hard to get this up, and to have Amazon say, fuck you, guess what? No, fuck you, Amazon, and fuck you, Jeff Bezos. Because now I'm going to do something I was asked only to do in a case of an emergency. Because Al Goldstein taught me how to do the Goldstein curse, and I modified it into the 42P death curse, which I said I would never use except for extraordinary circumstances. Well, guess what? This is it. So consider the 42P death curse just laid on your ass, Amazon. And I hope, Jeff, that your little rocket ship goes limp and refuses to fucking erect itself ever again. And may it blow off on take-up. This is the corporate fucking shit that I hate that's basically destroyed this country. And it's also denied my fans from enjoying what I put out. And do not despair, because this thing's on a bunch of other platforms, Smashwords, Draft to Digital, and some overseas platforms where you can get it. So my attitude right now is fuck Amazon. I don't want to be on Amazon. They can go fuck themselves. And I had a meeting with a bunch of us last night over the phone, and we realized that no matter what we do, it's never going to be put on Amazon unless we basically deball it. And I will not censor myself. I will not censor my writers. I will not censor my projects. So it's going to go out as is. And if we can't get it to you, I'm very sorry, but we have tried. We have tried hard, and like I said, it's on other platforms. So I guess just Google Grindhouse Resurrection, and hopefully you'll find it. And we're not going to do anything with the second or upcoming issues until we see what this does, because if this doesn't do anything on these platforms, I'm not going to put the time and effort in breaking this thing down, because like I said, it took a month to fucking format this shit. It's not easy. So, like I said, we've tried, and it's on other platforms. So, Amazon, fuck you. And for the rest of the world, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. You guys will stay safe, and we will catch you on the flip side.